are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. It is The Issue. It is Friday, August 5th, and we are back with another episode here. Welcome to August.
I am sick of this time moving fast, dude.
I know. Crazy.
I'm done with it.
Another good episode today. I mean, we got more divisional predictions for you. Couldn't be better. That's all we have in this episode. So it'll be good. It'll be straight to the point. It'll get you what you need, and it's moving us along. Right now, we're only a couple of weeks out from the first kickoff, which is absolutely exhilarating to think about. I mean, football season is what we do best here. It's what we wait for. This is what we spent the entire offseason talking about, prepping for. So when that first ball gets kicked off and that Thursday night game gets rolling on the 8th, so basically a month from now, a month and 3 days, and we will be in full swing NFL mode. But for today, we have the NFC East divisional predictions, right? So we got Philly, we got Dallas, we got Washington, and New York. We are going to give you, the projected records for these teams, some wins, some losses, things to expect, and then obviously our superlatives at the end here to kind of round out who's going to be the best in the division, right? MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Breakout Player, and the Coach of the division. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this thing. NFC East.
Let's make some people mad today. All right.
I like it.
So, starting off in the basement, I don't think it's a huge debate, is the Giants. First of all, probably the worst quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
A rookie head coach, so I think almost by default you'd be the worst coach in the division, at least for right now.
I mean, yeah.
We don't know yet, right? So going in, the worst coach in the division. I don't think the line is good at all. I don't even think it's even close to good.
Mm-mm.
The receivers on paper are good, but the last couple of years haven't performed. Defense is okay, not great. The pass rush is decent. They got a couple guys in secondary I like. I don't love.
I mean, it's a really thin roster, and the quarterback does not help, right? You get, with Daniel Jones, you might have a good game here and there. He's very spotty, not consistent whatsoever.
You don't have any leeway. You need a great game in order to win.
And plus, the injuries with Saquon always bug me. So, I mean, it's hard to project that he's going to be...
Oh, like a workhorse or something?
A workhorse, even efficient, because, like you said, that offensive line is almost non-existent.
It's bad.
So, I mean,
it's so bad.
You pair that with a running back that is, I don't think, ever had a fully healthy season, and, I don't
think so.
So, Giants at 5-12 in the basement kind of makes sense.
Feels right to me. Let's go with the Washington Commanders at 6-11. So,
third place there.
First of all, I don't know what I'm getting with Wentz. Do I think he's a big, strong, talented guy? Yes. Is the offensive line great? No. It's average at best. The weapons outside of Terry McLaurin are kind of concerning.
Yeah.
I do like Scary Terry. The running game isn't really there. So it's going to be Wentz and not a whole lot else. I don't mind Gibson out of the backfield, but outside of McLaurin, there's not much to throw to. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I think his situation in Indy last year was better than this one now. Right, and so if he goes 9-8 last year and misses the playoffs with Indy, who's a better roster, what am I supposed to expect with a significantly worse roster and a coach that I don't think is quite as good as Frank Reich in Indy?
And he had that familiarity with Frank Reich too, and he still couldn't put it together there. Right, he was going back to the same guy that he was with in Philadelphia that kind of made him into who he was when he had that breakout season. So, I mean 6-11 for the Commanders seems about right. I mean,
so say Wentz takes a 10% step back. So he's at now what? So he was 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. I think he had a QB of 88 or something like that. So then he's 24 touchdowns.
Probably about 5 more picks.
Oh, not 5 more. 8 or 9 picks instead of 7.
I don't know.
So he's now 24-8 with an 80-ish QBR, right? I mean, not great. Not great. I don't think that's going to propel them to win, is my point.
Yes, and I think with the schedule, we could probably even see some more picks.
Right. Let's go with the number 2 team in the division, the Dallas Cowboys. This is where we're going to make a lot of people upset because evidently every year is the Dallas Cowboys year.
Feathers will be ruffled. I mean, that's a inevitable thing here.
Here's 9-8. I think 9-8 is good because they're going to beat up on the Commanders and the Giants. So there's 4 wins right there.
Yeah.
They have a chance to split against Philly. And outside of that, their schedule isn't brutal. And so you do have a good quarterback still. Not great. I don't think he's special, but a good quarterback nonetheless. A slightly above average offensive line, but it's aging. I don't love that. You still have good weapons, even though you lost Amari. Your defense is still decent because you got Parsons and Trayvon Diggs on the back end. But you lose Amari Cooper, you lose Randy Gregory, you lose Cedric Wilson, your number 3 target. Michael Gallup's coming off an injury. I don't know what I'm getting. You lose 2 of your 3 top linemen. Hey, you're overpaying running back. You're overpaying quarterback. There's no depth. I think 9-8 is honestly generous, given what I have said in the last 30 seconds.
It is, but we're still going to get that pushback from the Dallas Cowboy nation and all of their fan base. Like you said, it seems every year is their year to them. I think this year will be no different than it has been for the last 25 years. Did you know that you have, 2 playoff wins in the last 25 years?
2 or 3, yeah.
So that's concerning. Maybe look into that a little bit. But I think that the Cowboys at 9-8 feels about right. I don't think they have anything explosive that's going to really propel them. So, I mean, in the number 2 spot, they're just lucky they're in a weak division, honestly, because they wouldn't be number 2 in many others.
I agree. And finally, that leaves the Eagles at number 1. This is kind of a surprise team for us this year, but their schedule's weirdly easy. So we have them at 12-5. I mean, I don't think it's a schedule that's brutal. I really don't. And we have a little bit of time. Off the top of my head, let's see. Not even off the top of my head. Let's just go Eagles schedule. I don't see them losing a lot of football games. So here are the improvements that they made. You get A.J. Brown. You go get the Bradbury, the corner from New York. Right. So now you have 2 shutdown corners, him and Darius Slay. Now you have 2 good wide receivers because I think Devonta Smith's going to take a step forward. A.J. Brown's already a beast. You have 3 good backs. The line is solid. Yeah. You have Fletcher Cox on the defensive line, and you add Jordan Davis as a defensive lineman with him. You already have some decent edge rushers, Brandon Graham being one of them. You get the steal of the draft at linebacker in Nakobe Dean. I'm not sure what's not to love about it, right? So going through the schedule here, they play the Lions. I think that's a dub week 1. They probably beat the Vikings. I think they start off about, what do we say, about 8-2, 8-3?
Yeah.
I think they'll probably lose to, the Colts because that's at Indy. That's kind of a tough game. They probably lose to, the Steelers, who I think will play them tough. I think they match up pretty well. The Cardinals at Arizona probably beat them. Outside of that, you're looking at maybe the Titans upsetting them because I don't love the Derrick Henry going in there, a big physical back, kind of keeping the ball away from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the team that runs the football and keeps you on the sideline. So when it's done to them, I'm not sure how that fares.
Better and a higher level, I think Tennessee does that a little bit more
better.
Efficient than they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you probably drop one of either maybe the Packers or the Cowboys at Dallas, right? So that gives you about 5 losses.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you're struggling to find losses on this schedule. I mean, they have the Texans, the Jags, like they said, the Lions, who I think are going to be improved but still not good. They have the Bears, they have the Saints, and who knows what's going on with the Saints. So, I mean, it's not a tough schedule at all.
No, they're kind of set up to do really well.
They really are, and I don't think 12-5 is a reach. And I've been a Jalen Hurts, not hater, but I've been a doubter of Jalen Hurts, but I think he takes a pretty good step forward here. I think they win the division, get about the 3 seed. It's going to be one of the best years that the Eagles have over the last 5-ish years since the Super Bowl season. So
I still think Jalen Hurts is fairly limited.
Right. I think he's a productive quarterback, though.
He's productive enough to get the job done, but I do think he's limited. I don't think he's the franchise guy in Philadelphia by any means. I don't think they're sold.
I think they're going to have a tough decision, though. Kind of like a Miami and Tua, right? Tua's going to be better this year with Mike McDaniels. Yeah. Now, then they're going to have to decide, do we pay him or not? I think it's going to be similar with Philadelphia.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting question mark to come in the future. But let's transition a little bit. Let's get into the superlatives for the NFC East.
Before the superlatives, we'll start like we normally do with the MVP. I think it's A.J. Brown. Now, normally we do a quarterback MVP, and now you could certainly argue Dak, and I would hear the argument. Do I think Dak is the best quarterback? No. Well, in this division, he probably is. But at the end of the day, I don't think that team is very Dak dependent.
Yeah.
Maybe this year a little bit more, missing Amari Cooper, but at the end of the day, look at Dak's numbers when Zeke or the team in general rushes for 100 yards plus versus when they don't. Right, they win a lot more when they rush for 100 yards plus, right? They're a better team when they're running the football, so I'm not sure he's the MVP. I think A.J. Brown can single-handedly make the Eagles a much better team. A threat down the field is exactly what they need, right? Devonta Smith is the deep threat.
Yeah.
You need a guy that you can just kind of throw the ball up to. He's going to go make a play, and A.J. Brown after the catch is fantastic. You might be able to steal a couple freebies with him where you throw a, 18-yard deep in, and boom, he's gone 60 yards down the field just because he's such a freak of nature.
Yeah, he's really scrappy at the point of attack, too, when it comes to those 50-50 balls. Like you're talking about deep downfield where you need somebody to go make that catch. He's your guy for sure. He's going to be able to go in there. He's really good at body positioning, too, being able to put himself between the defender and the football. So, A.J. Brown, MVP.
It's refreshing to see, too, because he's a big guy. He uses his whole frame.
Yep.
All right, Offensive Player of the Year, another receiver. Let's go with Scary Terry McLaurin. Signed a fresh contract. Off the top of my head, I don't even remember it. Good money. He's, top 15 guy. I'm not sure he's a high-end one, but he's certainly a good number one receiver. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I don't think he's had, and I just kind of dogged on Wentz a little bit, earlier in the segment, but at the end of the day, I think he might be the best quarterback that McLaurin's played with.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, Trevor Heineke last year?
Taylor Heineke, yes.
Yeah,
but
my bad.
You can call him Trevor. I don't really care. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I was a Heineke fan, I guess. Either way.
Yeah.
I think Scary Terry's going to go off a little bit, right? And then probably about 1,400 yards, which would be insane. Yeah. Maybe it's a bold prediction. Let's go with 1,200.
1,200 would be.
Let's go with 1,250, locking it in. 1,250. He's going to have about 9 touchdowns. He's going to be a really, really solid player.
It's not bad for a 6-11 football team.
Yeah, Offensive Player of the Year feels about right. I mean, go through the divisions. I don't think it'll be CeeDee Lamb or anyone from the Cowboys.
No.
Yeah, I mean, just don't even worry about the Giants. And from a Eagles perspective, we kind of already got their best offensive player, A.J. Brown. So we're left with Scary Terry, and that's a good choice for Offensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
All right, Defensive Player of the Year. Let's go with Micah Parsons. I think he was one of the best pass rushers last year, one of the best overall linebackers as a rookie last year, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that next step and becomes just the Defensive Player of the entire league this year.
Yeah.
So definitely, obviously, for this division, I think another candidate would be a Chase Young or maybe a Fletcher Cox from the Eagles. Both really, really solid players. I'll go with Mike. I think he's a little bit more dynamic, coming off the edge. He can stop the run. He can defend the pass. He can rush the passer.
Yep.
I like Micah Parsons a lot.
I think Micah has the highest ceiling of any defensive player in this division.
Yeah.
Chase Young is great. He's a great pass rusher. Fletcher Cox is really good too, and he can plug up those holes. And I mean, we know how valuable he is in stopping the run. And
every now and then he'll get after the quarterback a little bit. Yeah, but
absolutely. But he serves such a big role in that defense. But I think overall body of work, Micah Parsons is unmatched in that division.
He's so versatile. He can do anything. So, yeah. All right, Breakout Player of the Year. Let's go with Devonta Smith. First of all, crisp route runner. I think he was still kind of getting developed to the NFL game. He was a little thin coming out of Alabama. Probably put on a little bit of muscle, a little bit of size, I would imagine, being in an NFL nutrition and an NFL weight room, right? So I would assume he put on a little more size. He's a really good route runner. He still has the speed, good hands. Was still pretty good last year, and I think also opposite in A.J. Brown. He's not drawing the top assignment now every game. It's going to help him out. He's going to be a little bit more open. He's not getting double-teamed quite as much. I think Devonta Smith as a breakout player, he'll go from, I think he had like 800 yards, something like that, probably, close to 1,000, if not over 1,000, probably add 3 or 4 touchdowns and become a key part of that offense as a solid, bona fide number 2 target.
And that would really help Jalen Hurts out too, getting a really solid number 2 like that, because Jalen Hurts is not the most
accurate and developed passer.
Yeah, he's lacking a lot of things that you need to excel.
Yeah.
As a quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, if you can't accurately distribute a football, and first of all, smartly distribute a football, he made a lot of really bad reads and bad throws, you're going to need that receiving core to really pick up a lot of the slack and kind of make you look a lot better than you really are. I think if he breaks out this year like we are predicting him to, that makes the Eagles even scarier of a football team. I think maybe even past a 12-5 if he can have the type of season that we think he will.
Yeah, I think they had the most improvements of any team this offseason. They certainly have an A+ in offseason grades, and I think Devonta will benefit from that. All right, and Coach of the Year, none other than Nick Sirianni, leading the Eagles to the number 1 spot in the division. Honestly, also, though, it's kind of process of elimination here, so you can probably scratch out Brian Dable, who's a rookie, right? That's, like I said, going in, probably the worst head coach just because we don't know what we're getting. Cowboys, I really, really think Mike McCarthy's gone after this year. Like, I have a pretty strong feeling about that. I think he's gone after this season, if not during the season, depending on if they go on a big losing streak.
Right.
And Ron Rivera's good, but he only got that one Super Bowl with Cam, and it was mostly because Cam was so dynamic. Ron Rivera is a veteran presence. He's not going to get overwhelmed, but I don't think he's that standout coach.
Yeah.
Like, Nick Sirianni makes a difference, and I thought what he did well last year was instill a character, a personality, right? A plan to that team. We're going to run the football. We're going to play good defense. We're going to be fundamental, and we're going to be a tough team to beat, period.
Yeah, he gave them an identity.
Identity. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
He really did, though. Before that, I think 2-3 seasons ago, the Eagles kind of just looked like a sloppy mess. I mean, nobody really knew what their strengths were. What were they going to be? Sirianni came in, and I mean, they've been a run-first, punch-you-in-the-mouth team since.
Play action, and
it's really working out for them. And we obviously see it working out this season, especially in the NFC East. It is one of the
worst divisions in football.
Yeah, weaker divisions for sure. I would say bottom of the barrel right there.
Probably the worst, if not, maybe the AFC South.
Well, we got a good one next week, so make sure you guys are subscribing. You guys are turning on post notifications, because next week we got the AFC East. We got the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Jets.
Yeah. So,
more interesting of a division to go over. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you go check us out on social media at _issue podcast on Instagram and just at the issue podcast on Twitter. But all of our links can be found in the link tree in the description of this episode, no matter where you're watching or listening.
Check out the TikTok. TikToks are booming. Check them out.
TikTok. That is the issue _podcast for the TikTok. Go look at that. Always posting on there, and they are fantastic. So, guys, thank you so much for listening, and that was the issue.